Angie Martinez did an interview with Tupac years ago, and Diddy is the reason why the interview did not come out. Now, before a lot of y'all go, oh, he's capping, he don't know what he's talking about, watch the video, okay? I got all the proof right here about to get laid out for you right now and all y'all skeptical-ass people that be on the internet. Before we start, let me know where you're located right now. Let me know where you're from. Shout out to the people that love the culture. Welcome to Rich House Reviews. Hit that like button, bro. Hit that subscribe button, bro. I need real people like you. Let's get into it.
Say names outright, but from what he said, it's pretty clear he was talking about Diddy. He mentioned a producer with a boyfriend who used to be a dancer, and that could mean he was talking about Herell, the late Uptown Records founder, who some say had a special relationship with Diddy. And speaking of dancing, Diddy actually started out as a dancer himself, and back in the day, Suge used to tease him for dancing in Bad Boys music videos.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Second of all, I'd like to thank my whole entire Defo family. On both sides, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to tell Tupac to keep his guards up. We ride with him. And one other thing I'd like to say, any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
So with all this new buzz about Diddy,
listen, bro, when this guy Suge did that, bro, it established something. And that's why Wack 100 is the way that he is. He learned a lot. You got to realize when you around somebody so long, you learn from them. And I feel like you could say what you want about Wack 100, but he learned everything that Suge knew. What Suge did was bigger than just being big. It's mental.
Possible link to Tupac's death, fans are saying the coincidences are getting way too crazy to ignore. But we also have to bring up that infamous Angie Martinez interview, because Angie always claimed she didn't release the interview in full because she didn't want to make the East Coast, West Coast beef even worse back then. But Gene Deal recently confirmed that the real reason the full interview never dropped is because Diddy himself blocked it.
When Angie Martinez, right, when she went to LA and did the interview with Tupac, did y'all know about that on Bad Boy side?
Yeah, we heard about it. And I think Puff is probably one of the only persons that heard that interview. Angie can't say that nobody heard that interview. Because it wasn't her ideal not to put it out.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? She can say that it wasn't her ideal, but it's not owned by her. Who owns that interview? Because who was sent out there? Hot 97 owns it.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So she could take all the accolades for not putting it out. You understand?
Anybody that know about Hot 97 know that Diddy run Hot 97. Diddy, every time Diddy was on Hot 97, he put a lot of money in them people's pockets, so he was able to do a lot of things on Hot 97 that people wasn't paying attention to.
But when you send somebody or someone of your person do an interview under the banner of Hot 97, it belongs to Hot 97.
That's a fact.
And Puff in the back ran Hot 97. That's how he got Wendy Williams fired.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? He can make phone calls to say something, to say, don't put this out, don't do this, take this off. He had that kind of power.
That's a fact.
So Puffy, he did hear that Tupac interview.
Why would you try to stop something if you ain't heard it?
So Angie only ended up putting out about 10 minutes of what was actually a 2-hour interview. And from what insiders say, Tupac had a lot to say about Diddy in that full version.
And what's going down with that? So I wanted to get his view, and here goes a little something.
The East Coast, West Coast thing is a musical thing. That's separate. That's a whole thing separate to itself. That's a musical thing. When we have been beefing about whose music is better or which is this or which is that,
like it's gotten
from
real
the beginning.
bad
It has
right now.
because I'm like a lightning rod because I'm attacking New York's finest.
Wow.
They're self-proclaimed king of New York. You know what I mean? I'm attacking them, so because nobody is separating themselves from him, they still
talking about
how
Biggie.
raw. Yes, they still talking about how raw he is and woo woo woo. He's a representative. He represents New York.
There are a lot.
Every time it benefits New York, he represents New York. When it don't benefit New York, now he's just another rapper.
I'm not
But y'all
saying
let him
that.
wear y'all colors. You let him shout y'all shout. When Biggie came out here, he screamed out, "Brooklyn's in the house." We don't beef and say, "Why you starting a war?" Why is everybody, when I say West Side, it hurt people's feelings?
I don't think it's because you're saying West Side. I think because
They think
you know,
they own me.
Nah, not at all. I think it's because, you know, Dog Pound video came out, New York, and I'm not saying you was in the video. I know you wasn't in the video.
I wasn't in it. I didn't write it. I didn't produce the beat.
All right, so let's
I
take
was in
that.
jail. The album was done while I was in jail. That's separate.
Yeah.
It just, you know what it is? It's
Hey, yo, you know who killed Biggie and Pac, man? The media. If you agree, right, agree. That's who killed Biggie and Pac. Y'all can talk about all the media. Vibe and all these big publications was putting these people up against each other and making you choose a side. You had to choose a side. I wasn't messing with Pac back then. I was messing with Biggie. Why? Because that's where I'm from. And they made you choose a side. For real.
is New York's visualizing your camp, which to them is Death Row, which is Dog Pound, which is Snoop, and which is, you know, which is that whole thing. And it was all one time. The New York video came out. You know, brothers was stepping on cars in New York, stepping on, you know, on New York like they owned it. Boom, you come out next video, West Coast.
What about the video? Yes, to me it is the best coast, and everybody in New York feel like that too. That's why they come out here and party, man. Why is everybody acting like? I'm not saying. I didn't say for me to say Cali is the West Coast. I never said New York ain't shit. I never said New York is the worst coast. I just said where I'm at, where I'm from, is the best coast. Why is that offending people?
This all went down during the peak of the East Coast, West Coast beef. So people were hyped for what Tupac was going to say. But Angie claimed that dropping the whole thing back then would have just made things way worse. And she didn't want to cause any more drama or violence.
That's where I interviewed him. That's where it happened. It was in the middle of like all that. It was smack in the middle of like what was going on, crazy. And I was 22 and maybe, if that. It was like my first big interview, and I flew to the West Coast by myself.
Wow.
Didn't know him from nowhere. And I really just went there and interviewed him. And what I got was so crazy that at the time, I couldn't air it on the radio because I was literally afraid that somebody would die. I literally thought I would make a bad situation worse. When my intent was to try to smooth it out and make it better, but he was so angry and passionate at the time that I really felt like if I would have came, put it on the radio, it would have got worse. So what I did is I have this 2-hour interview, right?
Yeah.
What I did was I aired 5 or 10 minutes of it, the best pieces that I felt like wouldn't cause more problems, and that's all I ever aired. So technically, I have this 2-hour Tupac interview that's never been ever heard,
and that's going to be offered on your site, Throwback Thursdays. You got to put the whole interview.
Yeah, no, I'm at the place. Everybody's like pressuring me to do it.
You have to put the entire interview.
I feel like now. I do feel like now it might be a better time because I feel like, you know, everything's settled. It's part of history. I feel like almost selfish because it's so amazing. I feel selfish that I have kept it to myself.
But now we know Angie basically had no choice but to keep that interview locked down. Going against Diddy's wishes back then could have gotten her fired, or maybe even worse. So that interview has been surrounded by rumors for years. But here's what people say Tupac allegedly said. Allegedly, Pac called out Diddy by name throughout the interview, saying he was behind a lot of the drama, the setups, and the threats since he got at Quad Studios in '94. Tupac also allegedly claimed that Diddy had ties to street and might have even helped set him up, or at least let it happen. And if that had aired back then, it would have been huge, especially with the East Coast, West Coast beef already so tense. But here's where it gets really serious. Tupac also reportedly exposed how Diddy really ran things at Bad Boy. Not like the regular record labels, but more like a mafia. And he allegedly said there were even bigger, more powerful people than Diddy pulling the strings, stirring up division in the black community, pushing gangster rap, and all that negativity to destroy the community from within and then profit from their trauma.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
Literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. The records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Some records are made by committee, meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. You have, you know, the record company pushing the narrative. You know, some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full.
So Pac supposedly accused these higher-ups of controlling everything from the shadows and using guys like Diddy as puppets to tear the community apart. And some sources even say he named names of these top players.
And I've always had total love and support and understanding that after my second marriage failed, because I had been 100% heterosexual up until that point, that I opened myself up after the failure of my second marriage. Having read something about bisexuality, my story was different. I just found that I would open myself up to the possibility of a relationship based on the person and not on gender.
And in reality, do you want this type of a person pushing your music, pushing your message, and pushing it out there? That's what you got to ask yourself. These are the people that are in power. Now, with this whole, anybody that got to this part of the video, man, right, I did in the comments. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the reason why these videos are getting pushed out the right way. Diddy, I feel, is guilty of a lot of things that have nothing to do with that trial. As far as the trial, you could go on my channel and see what I'm talking about. But as far as this type of stuff, this is stuff that wouldn't have came out on the internet. The fact that whole interview ain't get released yet is mind-boggling. Now, I think when things are hidden, there's a reason why it's hidden, and that's just pretty much what it is. I want to know you guys' views. You guys been here listening to what I got to say. I want to know what you guys feel about this. This is part 2. Make sure you go watch part 1. I also need subscribers. Make sure you hit the top bell, and I'll see you on the next one. I am out of here.